Hi, friends. We are just coming online now. Welcome, everybody. We were just, hold on, I need to undo a thing really quick. Boink. No worries. Easy peasy. How's it going, everybody? We were just listening to some of the horrible puns that Jeff's brother made with his dog. So we're all a little bit nonplussed. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and share with us the name of your brother's dog and a couple of the gems that you just shared with us. Oh, God damn it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got no sound from Jeff, although that was my bad. I had not turned the sound back on. But fortunately, everyone was able to read the subtitles. And I agree that your brother's dog Mars comes with it an awful lot of wonderful jokes to be had. Really quick, chat, go ahead and confirm for me that you can actually hear people. Jeff, one more time, say hi.
Hello.
Everyone can hear now, please?
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Every now and again, I forget to flip a switch. These things happen. Excellent. Everyone seems to say that they are able to hear now. We have quite a packed agenda for today, my friends. And in fact, welcome to what will be, unless things go way off the rails, the season finale, the ender of the Sunless Citadel. Again, unless things go completely off the rails, which does happen on occasion, but I'm not really seeing any way that could happen. But then again, you never know.
Can't Thunderwave us
We
into
are-
all a new...
One way or another, we're ending it tonight.
That's right. We are PCs in a game you are running, so whatever you had planned never stood a chance.
That's also true. Yes. So I actually kind of want to take this part and sort of move through it as quickly as possible, just because we do have a lot to do today. We have a special guest coming up, which is really great. And later on, and I want to go ahead and tease this right now, friends, make sure you stick around. And if there's anybody else who you think might be interested in this game, make sure they come and stick around as well, because at the first break, during the first break, I will be setting up a poll. Next game, next session, Meepo will have a character class level. Yes? Because, assuming, of course, that he manages to survive all the way to the end of the module, he will be given a character class. And I will be giving you, my wonderful viewers, the chance to vote on which of 5 classes Meepo will be. I'm not going to tease any more than that. I'm not going to tell you what the contenders are just now, but stay tuned for that. Okay. So, and yes, thank you very much for the bits, Michaelia. I appreciate you. Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so really quick, I'm gonna go ahead and jump us in game. So I'm gonna do a very fast recap. There wasn't a whole lot of separate items that happened last game. Last game had 2 really big things happen, right? There was returning to the kobolds, and I believe I'm hearing a little bit of myself through one of your microphones. There was the getting paid by the kobolds and Meepo's entire climactic encounter with Eustrial. And then there was the quote-unquote duel, which, of course, the Warchief never had any intention of actually being a duel, involving way too many goblin tokens. And after a long and very difficult fight, you managed to not only take down the goblin Warchief, who was a hobgoblin, if I remember correctly, but you...
Bugbear.
Oh, a bugbear. See, I get them all mixed up. And you were able to assume chiefdom of the Sunless Citadel goblins. So, really quick, I'm just going to go down because I do like getting input from players, especially on recaps, because you all remember things different from me. So I would love for each of you to give me just one thing that stuck out from your memory from last game. I'm going to go top to bottom, so we'll start with Jen.
One thing that stuck out really was Meepo's grand words to the head of the kobold.
The words that none of you could understand?
Yep, the words that none of us could understand. Yay for out of player knowledge.
That was beautiful. What's going on?
Jeff, what was a thing that you remember? What was something that sticks out?
I do remember getting a frightening amount of utility out of potions of fire breathing, but that seems just to be a trend.
Oh, yeah.
I did like the just a bunch of very efficient use of magic. Oh, and just making their big shaman go out like a punk.
Absolutely dropped her. Yeah, her and the dragon also. Like, Calder has been excellent at shutting down enemies.
Credit where due. That the one shot definitely gets shared credit with Hyacinth, because that was just good teamwork
From the oil.
And then
yes.
And then she immediately abandoned me and surrounded by goblins. It was great.
He or they technically, or she. I guess all pronouns are good for Hyacinth. We're a non-binary person.
Hyacinth abandoned me and surrounded by goblins.
Par for the course. Gail, what's something that stuck out from you or for you from last game?
Echo had a really nice evening seeing Meepo like without the weight on his shoulders, and then Echo had a really not great time avenging his father's death. Like, it worked out in the end, but man, I was right in those last few hit points there.
That was an epic duel between. It wasn't really a duel, but it was very, very epic struggle between you and the Warchief. It was fantastic.
It was better than a duel because instead of being Echo versus the Bugbear, it was Echo versus the Bugbear and the Bugbear's guards. So
I wasn't fighting alone. I really appreciate what my team did. I mean, Meepo was right there next to me getting some killer shots.
I mean.
And then Hyacinth, using your fantastic extra hit points really, really quickly.
And
it worked.
Yeah, Em, you are the next person. So what stuck out to you?
I mean, my big thing that stuck out to me was the fact that duel was technically a one-sided duel, because the only person that attacked the Bugbear was Echo, and like technically Meepo, but like that's not a PC. We love Meepo, but listen, this was a one-on-one fight, and we made sure that it was a one-on-one fight. It didn't turn out that way on their side, but it was definitely like Echo was the only one of the PCs that did any attacks in the direction of that Bugbear. And I thought about it.
I agree. So
you also can't forget Clarion's flirtations with necromancy.
Yes, we'll get there. We'll get there. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and sort of move from there forward, right? You defeated the goblin, or the bugbear chief, and at the time, some of you still had some healing magic to throw around. So I am okay with you having stabilized, say, a half a dozen of the goblins that you attacked, because Clarion can throw healing word around, Urki can throw cure minor wounds around, plus mundane medicine checks. So, we'll say that you managed to take about 6 goblins. You already had the hobgoblins stabilized, right? So they aren't in any danger, at least the one that you saw most recently. The one you originally tied up, you still haven't seen.
No.
Here's an interesting and very quick question. Are there any specific goblins or goblinoids that you target for healing? There are a few that had names, but yeah.
I'm specifically making sure that they don't bring back Durnn, the bugbear, and then Runnel, the shaman. But everyone else, just get them up if you can.
No problem. And goblins being goblins, a lot of the time, not all of them, but a lot of goblins immediately begin to respect the person who, you just defeated the Warchief, you're the Warchief. So like whatever you say goes, and their attitude toward you just immediately turns around. Like you and yours are given goblin wine, which I wouldn't drink, but you can if you want. You're given food, which I wouldn't eat, but you can if you want. And yeah, you are treated very well. So let's go ahead and start there. You just finish up the fight. I imagine you're going to take a rest. I've already applied the long rest to your character sheets. The only creature that hasn't been healed is Fred the Goblin Zombie, because zombies do not naturally heal. They can only be healed through, I believe, negative energy spells if you really want to go full evil.
I think also 5e health
Negative
potions
energy
work on
is
them.
evil.
You think health potions work on them as well? Fair enough. I will.
In 5e.
I'm one way or the other. That makes sense to me.
But I don't
so yeah.
think we have any left, so
Yeah.
it's a bit of a moot point.
So Fred's got a hole in his chest at the moment, but it's just a hole in the chest. He's not like bleeding or anything like that. It's just he got stabbed right through the chest, and it's just a little hole now.
You got shot through the heart, and they're to blame.
Okay, so but we went into the chamber where the Warchief's throne was. We looked through the chest. That was totally not trapped. Hyacinth
Not even a little bit trapped.
Hold on.
didn't injure themselves on that trap.
I am sharing the map of the top of the Citadel, and I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. Even though there are some rooms you haven't been to yet, I'm going to go ahead and make it visible for everybody just for ease. So I'm going to turn off line of sight.
Whoa.
You should all be able to see the whole Citadel now, yes?
Yeah.
Excellent. As I said, what's beyond the dragon door, you technically don't know what that is yet, but all you can see is a bunch of rooms, so it's fine. So here's where we are right now. I'm going to go ahead and take off this pointer, which was the circle for Calder's darkness sphere, if I recall properly.
Yeah.
So yes, where you stand right now, let me open up this thing. I think I might have some box text for you.
Box text.
Why isn't it opening?
Box text,
You're my
baby.
box text.
We looked down the hole already.
Yes. So, right. And I recall Calder specifically because of his enhanced dark vision was able to pick up that, yes, it does appear that the bugbear Warchief did use this particular fissure to get rid of people or goblinoids that he didn't like.
Yeah, we were talking about whether we wanted to go down there or go back and go through the dragon door. And I think we were talking about going down there, thinking that might be where we will find
Belek?
yeah.
Well, and the nobles
And-
that we were going
the
after.
people we were trying to find. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a long rest either in this room or back in the common area.
Oh yeah, we want a long rest.
Yeah. As I said, I've applied
since
the
the
long
fight.
rest mechanically to your sheets already, so we can hand wave
So-
that bit.
Yeah, so during the long rest, I have some questions for the goblins that I'm
Yes.
now technically in charge of. And then I have some advice I'd like to seek from my companions. But let's start with the goblin questions.
So yeah, we'll start there, and then I'll sort of find out what other people are doing while you're questioning or answering questions or whatever of the goblins, and then we'll come back around. Yeah, I think that sounds fair. So Gail, what are your questions to the goblins?
All right, my first one is, where is Belak and how often do you interact with him?
Can you give me a goblin name?
Cracks.
Cracks. Excellent. Crax. Cracks.
Yes.
All right. So Cracks is the highest ranking left. We'll say one of the hobgoblin sergeants is named Cracks. Okay? And he goes, Balak sent fruit. Only chief go into Balak's sanctum. We garden, we help with his he struggles for a word for a moment. Experiments. But he gives us fruit a few times a year.
When was the last time that happened?
I think we established canonically how long it's been since the last shipment of apples went out. I don't recall what that is, so we'll say it matches up. I think it's been...
Is it an only, like...
Are we
one,
we
like,
coming
Yes,
due is the important part.
No, it's already happened for this season.
Okay.
Yeah, every season, just a quick recap, every season, twice a year, once in the winter time and once in the summertime, or the springtime, or summertime. There are a small batch. It wasn't specified how many of the apples go out, but over the course of a couple of weeks, the apples are distributed, and we are at the end of that period of time.
Okay. So Belak doesn't ever come up here into
No.
the goblin area.
No, they haven't seen
Okay.
the common goblin of the Sunless Citadel hasn't seen Belak in over 10 years.
Yeah, since he came down the first
Since he
time,
came
I
down the
guess.
first time, yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to like come upon us when we're taking our long rest.
No.
Gotta be careful for simple things like that.
Yeah. Next question. What did the goblins do with the rest of Urki's group?
Belak wanted the group. Durnn, well, he nods his head to the big, gaping hole and says, one of them made Durnn mad. The other two went to Belak and haven't seen him since.
Experiments.
So we know at least one went down the hole and 2 more were delivered to Belak.
All went down the hole, just at various speeds.
All right. So from the conversation, I'm getting that down the hole is the way to Belak.
Yes. Belak.
Okay.
Belak, his lab, his books, and his whatever else. He talks in Goblin for a moment, and he says, whatever the hell else that crazy bastard's got going on down there. He switches to Goblin. Now he switches back to Common.
Echo, I do hope that in our friendship you will teach me your language. It's such a beautiful, beautiful sound.
It's flowery. I'll get to that. Next question. Why did you raid and take Calcrix?
Durnn thought kobolds had the dragon, and that made the kobolds very dangerous. But if we goblins had the dragon, then that would make goblins dangerous. But dragon was more dangerous than goblins.
That makes a stunning amount of sense.
This lines up with everything we've seen so far.
We thought maybe we use the dragon to drive out the kobolds. Dragon almost drive out the goblins.
Yeah, I saw what
we've
she
met.
did to the treasure room. Not much left intact in there.
We also saw what you did to the barracks right next to the treasure room.
Chief did not think you would survive fight with Calcrix. Chief sent some folks to look after whatever.
Just have the widest grin.
Whatever survived. They both like the shade of green or yellow that the goblin is like pales at Calder's grin. And what's the next question? It kind of stammers into silence.
So, am I speaking to one of the hobgoblins that we fought earlier?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna ask what happened to the other hobgoblin.
Looks down the hole.
Basically, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, he failed. Durnn was not happy with him.
Durnn was an idiot.
Quick point of clarification. Which of the hobgoblins am I talking to? Am I talking to the one that I intimidated and then we took out before he could take an action, or am I talking to the one that I scratched a coward onto his armor?
The coward one is the one that got thrown. The one that had it scratched on his armor is the one that got thrown down and killed. This is the other one.
Okay. I liked you better anyway.
Ice cold.
No, that was Calcrix.
Also true.
I give a general order to all of the goblins to gather up, continue tending the wounded, take attendance, make sure that nobody's missing, and basically just hold fast for the night.
Yeah. We still fighting kobolds? We still working for Belak?
Keep the defenses up. Balak's not going to be a concern for very much longer.
But you shouldn't expect much as much kobold aggression.
The goblins all accept your word, more or less, as a matter of course. So yeah, fantastic. You'll be able to hole up. You'll be able to take your long rest. And then at one point, while you're beginning to rest, Erky is going to sort of walk up to Calder and Echo and look over at Fred the Goblin Zombie and look over at Clarion, and in a voice that's definitely loud enough to carry to anyone who cares to hear it, goes, "So, are we gonna talk about the zombie?"
Oh, yeah, Clarion. What the fuck?
I mean, normally, I know I'm a cleric, so I can be the judgmental type, but I'd like to think I'm open-minded. Normally, but I am seeing a living personification of evil undead standing right in front of me with a hole in its chest, and I want to know what the fuck's going on.
Okay, so one, I don't necessarily think that Fred is. I'm calling him Fred. Fred. I mean, I can't think of anything else to call him because he's undead. Fred. I don't think he's the living personification of evil so much. But yeah, no, I didn't.
Evil is
God, I say
relative.
this too often. I pull out the little crystal whistle and said, "So we looted this from the cold room of
Yes.
bad ideas?"
Oh, yes. I understand how you did it. I saw how you did it, and Calder, I tentatively agree. There isn't. I mean, there are those that can choose good and evil, but that is a zombie. That is not that is the epitome of evil. There are sentient creatures that can choose one way or the other, but when you get to things like zombies and and he cuts off halfway through the word demon.
No. Finish that sentence. Go ahead and finish that sentence.
He kind of looks down and he goes, "Sorry, you're not. But you're not. But you're not. But
I'm not demon. My mother was of devil heritage, and there is a distinct difference.
Semantics.
No, it's not semantics. They're two entirely separate circles.
That is not a semantic distinction.
Two entirely different planes.
And the two do very, very different things. One is a rampaging monster. One destroys everything that gets in its way. One is an absolute abhorrent enemy of all that stands and lives. And the other is my mom.
Lawyers.
Wait, there's 4?
My mother loved me very much. I will not tolerate any kind of intolerance toward her.
All right.
That very clear.
All right. I wasn't talking about you, but you do have to grant to me that you have free will and sentience to choose good or evil on your own. That thing is a construction of pure evil magic. There is no way to utilize such a thing to the ends of good that won't end up tainting you. And that's all I'm going to say. This is not my adventuring party. I'm just gonna...
That thing is a puppet. It is a piece of hardware. It is no more different than animating a chair.
It's
happens to be the one it's animating is a corpse.
He can hear you.
I mean, would you rather I have sung Thunderwave?
It's a puppet that is... It's a puppet who has a soul, even if the soul isn't there, and you did not consent with that soul to use the body.
I will say that I didn't know what the whistle did. I just knew that it was supposed to be blown in battle, and I figured in the situation we were in that perhaps it would be helpful.
Evil is often what's the word?
Helpful?
Seemingly helpful. Tempting, I suppose. But again,
I appreciated Fred having my back in that battle.
this is not my group. I will see through to the end, but I just want to make sure that you know that this is the first step toward becoming the undead lich that your parents tried to scare you about when you were a kid, or mine did
It's a
anyway.
lich.
My parents
sound like
never
it-
tried to scare me as a child. What the heck?
You
Sounds like a
sound exactly
fungus.
like every pot. You don't treat him badly. He is parroting every single line I've heard since childhood about the nature of evil.
Macalia with 1,000 bits. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
But
you.
Clarion, I
Yeah?
do have one concern.
I
I
have
walk over to-
several, but yes, voice yours.
I walk over to Fred, and I steer Fred, if he'll let me, just to like the door of this chamber and peek my head out and get the attention of the hobgoblin again. And point to Fred and say, Did this person have any family that's still here?
The answer is almost certainly yes.
And I'm gonna be like, okay, just checking, and I'm gonna close the door again.
Oh no.
Hey, we can take Fred further in, but we're not bringing Fred back out.
Yes, in all of the confusion, nobody noticed Fred until after the fight was over, and a goblin, and Urki's like, "Hey, didn't that goblin have a sword through its chest?"
There was a lot of chaos.
There was a lot of chaos.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh,
Meanwhile, that entire conversation was happening while Hyacinth was like making a flower crown and putting it on Fred's head. just just in case if you decide to draw it, that needs to be in the background. I'm telling you for the fan art reasons.
Oh my god. I did not put Undead Fred in the shirt that I'm working on, but
Oh yes, you should absolutely. I mean, we'll do plugs at the end of this, but you should absolutely check out Swedish Geekball's latest
should
art.
be
It
the
is absolutely amazing. It's amazing.
He
Okay.
should be the roadie.
Finished product.
well, he'd wind up being
Anyway.
the roadie. He wouldn't be on stage though if he was the roadie.
Let's
Let's
put him off, just off stage, just offset.
let's
But
let's
yeah,
let's
speaking of
begin to
which-
move on. Let's begin to
speaking of
move on.
which,
Maybe we're gonna
Hide Fred away.
So yes, Fred will be hidden away for the time being. Really quick, what is Clarion doing during this period of long rest?
Aside from looking exceedingly uncomfortable with everything, probably trying to help heal people as best that he can, and
There's plenty of bandaging to be done. It was a pretty big
Yeah.
fight. Like even
Yeah.
some of the non-combatant goblins have been injured because like you can't show this in a grid environment, but they were kind of trampling over each other to try to get away from
Mhm.
the
yeah.
the violence that suddenly erupted in their midst. So yeah. What's Calder doing during this period of downtime, other than sleeping, of course?
Like on a thematic level, he'll split his resting time between playing dragon chess with Urki and using the control water cantrip to like wash people's hair.
What's the you'll get a line of goblins like ready to go. Running water is not a goblin luxury very often. So if you're willing to be running water, then every goblin in the camp's gonna want you to hit them up.
The price for that is I'll want them to boil water in between use it while this is happening. So
That makes sense.
so that it's clean. Otherwise, yeah, just that's fine.
What's Calder's intelligence?
10, not very high. but
So
not bad.
you and Urki play, a handful of decent games, but no one's going to call either of you a master of the game.
No.
You do well, and it's fun in the way that when you get two mediocre chess players together, it can be very fun.
I am proficient in the game.
As a
my
mediocre
favorite.
chess player myself.
Yeah.
Okay, and then M, what is Hyacinth doing during this period of downtime?
Well, I mean, aside from flower crown making, I'm assuming there's by way of not just doing a nap and doing a food eat. I'm assuming there's like trying to figure out how to get down the hole without necessarily dying?
Totally. You are actually able to tell very easily. The vines that are creeping up or down, probably up, out of the fissure are easily scalable. Like
We also have rope.
like easier than rope scalable. You'll be very.
Oh gosh.
Hey, there's the flower crown. Yes. Hold on.
It's
Lots of
basically.
handholds.
Crap, I don't know which one's who now. Okay, that one's him.
Hey, just rotate through all of them. It's fine.
I just did. I mislabeled them because I had to do these at the last second. So, where are we at? Yeah, so you'll be able to get down there no problem without even having to make any checks or anything like that. Like, I'm not worried about it.
Okay, good.
Just as long as we're not tied up and thrown down, it's fine.
Yes.
Oh, also, I don't want to land on
It is-
bodies.
It is a good solid like 80-foot drop. You definitely do not want to fall off of that ledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figure there's like some rope tying and whatnot just to make sure that when
I was about to
we
say,
go
we're
down, it's not going to be rough. And also so that we can get Fred down without breaking him.
I
Like,
mean,
pull
how
Zombies
heavy
can
is
climb.
Fred?
Fred is not heavy.
I mean,
He's a goblin.
right?
He's a goblin that's lost most of his bodily fluids. He's pretty
Okay,
light.
so he's like 11 pounds, and we could eat him if we needed to.
Oh
Or
my god,
carry
we're not
him.
having Fred jerky.
I said yeet for a reason.
Yeet, not
Yeet.
Yeet. Yes.
As we're all having this conversation around eating our rations.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
I appreciate Google not knowing what yeet is.
you
Sweet.
sleep through the whatever time it is. Who knows down here? But you get good rest. The goblin you get used to the smell of the goblin lair very quickly. Because you couldn't not. It's either that or die. So you get used to it pretty quickly, or at least learn to put that particular bit of feedback in the back of your head. Fred Psychonthrope is not desiccated or mummified, but he was stabbed a lot before he was raised from the dead. So the blood was definitely put on the floor instead of inside of him.
Crusty.
Yeah. So it's not like he's been deliberately drained and preserved, but he's definitely not like
There was
full of blood.
Nothing deliberate about any of this.
Okay, so you wake up the next morning, quote unquote, whatever the hell that means, and where do we go? What do we do, friends?
As we're looking down the hole, getting ready to climb down, I'm going to bring up the topic with everyone of like, hey, you all are nobles, right?
Yes.
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 So you were like raised and taught how to govern people, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What the fuck am I supposed to do now? I didn't mean to become the war chief.
Oh no.
I spent the
is
last 10 years as a dancer. I don't know how to govern people.
There's options. There's options, and do you really think that right now is the time to discuss them?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a
You-
bit of a climb down.
Like, it's going to be a bit of a climb down, yes, and there's probably going to be a fight at the bottom. And the real question here is, I think right now you should set up a person to take over just in case if you don't come back.
Yeah, like
Step
a, like
one,
a
have an
substitute.
heir. Just pick somebody and be like, "Yay! If I don't come back in the next, I don't know, 3 days, you're in charge." And then we'll figure it out afterwards.
That's
Because
a-
if you die, this place
And it-
could
yeah.
possibly get a hold of another Durnn.
Yeah,
and maybe
kind of
give
a moot point.
and maybe give your heir some instructions such as leave.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sticking around here one way or the other.
Or, don't listen to creepy druid people with toads.
You see, that's what my father tried to say, and then he died because of it.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, we're gonna go
Yes, but
fight
we're going
a
to go.
creepy dude with
Yeah,
toad.
but we're going to go do terror.
Ooh, lost you there, Jeff.
Yep.
Going to go do terror.
Terrible things, I imagine, but I'm afraid that I've now I hear you again.
Don't know what happened there.
It was just a delay, I think. It happens sometimes. I hear you
have
now.
this delightful gormless face in your stream. So.
When it comes down to it, nobody looks good when they're frozen unless they get very lucky, right? Like people make such weird faces just in the course of talking. So yeah. So yeah, I agree. Who are you Echo up there? Who are you going to be naming as your second in command?
Probably the one remaining hobgoblin that seemed to have some sense about him.
Cracks.
Yes.
Cracks.
Hey, so we're heading down. We're gonna go take care of the Belak problem. If I don't come back in 2 days, you're in charge. My advice would be, whatever. I'll be dead.
Fixing the problem, fixing the problem, fixing the problem, fixing the problem.
We don't have much left, he's speaking in Goblin. We don't have much left in the way of warriors, so, if you don't make it back, we're gonna have a hard time surviving, so be careful.
Well,
Durnn was an idiot.
something to think about, though. And
Are you speaking in Common or Goblin?
Goblin, and I'll search through my pack and grab out the seasonal poster for my dance troupe back in Neverwinter, and I'll hand it over to him. I'll be like, if shit really goes sideways, I have friends here who don't judge people for being goblinoid.
The all goblin circus. I love it.
If I come back alive, I'm going back there. But if I don't come back alive, it's a possibility.
All right. Well, we'll hold up here so long as the kobolds don't come after us.
Off from the corner. Tell them that if you don't come back in 2 days, they should just go.
Yeah, that's what I was implying. No one here speaks Goblin.
You gotta say it outright, though. People can't understand basic.
There aren't a lot of folks out there that take the time to learn an absolutely gorgeous language like ours, and it's really unfortunate. It very much is.
Right.
It's their loss, and we are greater from it.
The rest of the party's hearing like...
I know. He's like, well, it is their own loss. We have the most beautiful mode of communication, and you're hearing...
Some gargling noises.
I mean, it really depends on if you want it to be very similar to, Arabic or not.
No.
No.
It's guttural.
So shall we move forward to the point where you descend into the lower level? Does anybody
If you go down, I'm blind.
Does anybody else have anything else they want to say or do before you descend into the lower level of the Citadel?
I don't have any armor to put on or spells to select, so I'm good.
I could disguise myself as Durnn.
You're tall enough.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
You get the idea that these goblins can escort you to the point where goblins are no longer generally allowed. But yeah, I mean, it could work. Go ahead,
Are we gonna
Jen?
send help?
Should I blow the whistle again so that undead Fred does not become angry Fred?
I thought you had 24 hours.
It is a 24-hour thing. Yeah, it's only been about 8 or 9 hours. So you should do it at some point.
I wasn't sure because we had a long rest. Exactly how long?
A long rest is usually 8 hours. So you'll definitely want to do it before your next long rest is probably a good plan.
All right.
But
it's totally easy to keep track of time down here.
Right.
Question.
Yes.
A very important question.
VIQ.
Do I know that I need to keep blowing on the whistle?
Yes.
I know you told me.
Yes.
But does Clarion know?
When you blew the whistle, you became aware magically of how it works. So yes.
Oh, good. It gave me all of the rules.
Yes.
Downloading.
You also
User
know.
manual.
You also know that after 24 hours, you can theoretically use it to keep control of up to 2 goblin or of zombies or skeletons. Not necessarily goblins. Though you've got a lot to choose from around here at the moment.
If I were to
let me just keep getting extra frets. I mean, that'll go well.
I could disguise myself as Durnn. We can fake all of Hyacinth and Clarion being prisoners, and get close.
And help.
I don't know.
The,
you don't
the
speak
flaw in this plan
goblin.
is that's the flaw in the
That
plan.
we could raise Durnn from the dead.